Hey guys, what's going on? RetroGamer here, and welcome back to another review featuring the Sega Dreamcast. So, the Sega Dreamcast hit the shelves in 1999, and truly was an amazing console. This was competing against the N64 and PlayStation 1. And this is a console that truly gave us some great games, interesting controls, and all around a great gaming experience. Now, the Sega Dreamcast is known to be a total failure. It sold very terribly, and it all around just didn't succeed like the other consoles did. Although I truly have to disagree that the Sega Dreamcast succeeded in a lot of ways and truly gave you a great experience, and I wish it would have really competed well with the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. Although it did succeed quite well with the N64 in terms of graphics and controls. I really feel that it should have gotten more respect than it did. And it's really sad because the Sega Dreamcast is an amazing console, giving us some amazing titles and gave us all around a great experience. A lot of people didn't have it, so you can see there why it didn't succeed. I didn't know one person who had this as a kid. Like, everyone who I knew had at least, like, Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. I never knew one person who had this. I didn't even know about it till my later teenage years, about the Dreamcast. And honestly, I'm quite sad that I didn't get it until now. I just got it about a week ago, and I haven't been able to put it down since. It's truly an amazing system. So one of the battles with the Sega Dreamcast was Sega was battling some tough times and trying to recover from the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn was just a terrible console. It wasn't very good at all. And they were trying to succeed from the loss of that. And so this was their last resort, and sadly, this was their last console. The Sega Dreamcast 1999. This was their last attempt, and it just didn't give them what they wanted, and so they are now making games for other people now. And I can respect that, but I just wish it would have gotten more attention than it did. One of the big things that killed the Sega Dreamcast was the fact of piracy issue. People found out very early on with the Dreamcast that you could just burn the image onto a disc to a regular CDR and it would run. And the piracy became huge with the Dreamcast, and everyone was... You could find things online. People were just selling these pirated games of like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, and it was horrible. And in about 2000, after October 2000... they released a newer version where the Sega Dreamcast would read discs differently, so you couldn't do this anymore, and it would actually know if they were real or not. And by the time they did this, it was pretty much too late, and the piracy issue was galore. And another reason why it just failed was just because it had a lot to offer, but it just wasn't very popular. And there are many different reasons why it wasn't popular, but I just don't understand it because it had such great games. And I know I've been rambling on here for about 3.5 minutes, so why don't we take a look at the features of itself, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Dreamcast at the end of the video. So here's the Dreamcast. So you see the Dreamcast right here. It has the 4 controller ports, so you see it's very trying to compete with the Nintendo 64. This is the earlier model. This is the one before 2000. So right here it says compatible with Windows CE. I don't know if that was on every Dreamcast, but this is what mine says. The little light indicator. Up top is the power button, the open button, Dreamcast up here. I really love the little swirl for the Dreamcast. Got the nice look of the Dreamcast. I didn't think it was going to be this heavy. Like, the Dreamcast is really heavy, actually. Like, compared to most consoles, like, I was surprised how heavy this was for a older console. And then here to the sides, you got the little fan port on this side. No fan port on that side. Every Dreamcast came with a dial-up modem adapter, so you could, like, take this out. And then they came out with, like, a broadband adapter. Those ones are a little rare, but this is the standard link cable adapter that it came with, so you could do like dial up online when they had Dreamcast Online, which they had some amazing games online for Dreamcast. This was one of the revolutionary game consoles for online gaming. This is the AV out. Takes a special AV out, so I'll get to that in a minute. The AC in just is a standard AC in, the 2-prong, so it's much like the PlayStation 1, the first model. I'm not sure of the second model, but you can just use any standard 2-prong adapter. This is the serial port. I don't know what this is used for exactly, but that's there. Then you got a little fan port down here. Now, how you can tell that you have the one before October 2000. If you look here, if you see the little circle here with a number in it, if you see your circle with a number in it and it says 0 or 1, then that means that you have the earlier model. If it's 2 or greater, then you have the one after October 2000. And if you have the one that's earlier, you can burn Dreamcast games and just play them on your Sega Dreamcast. Now, I do not condone piracy at all. Piracy is very bad. You could get in a lot of trouble. So I do not condone this at all. Do not do that. If you do it at your own risk. I do not condone this. This is not something you should do, but that's how you can tell if you can burn them or not. As I said, do not do that. I am not responsible for your piracy acts, and please just don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get me in trouble. I do not do that. I just don't mess with piracy at all. That's some really bad stuff. But when you open it up here, here's a little place where you put your CDs, and that's it with the Sega Dreamcast. Now, let's move on to the games real quick. I just wanted to show off the case. So it's very much like the PlayStation 1 cases, the standard jewel case. Mine's a little cracked up here. I got this for like $2.50 at my local bargain town. And I got this at Bargain Town as well for like $50. It came with 2 controllers, the Dreamcast, the cords. And I just bought this for $2.50. This is Sega GT. Oh god. Oh, well, yeah, the case is a bit broken here, as you can tell. But the game itself came in nice condition. Then it's advertising for MSR, which is a great game as well. This is the only game that I bought with it. It says Dreamcast. I just want to show the little cool case, because I've never had an actual Dreamcast case, and now I do. And it's just really cool. I like the back and everything. And that's the case's just standard jewel case. Now, I'm sure you want to see the controller. So, the controller is something to be really desired. So, this is going for like an Xbox, like PlayStation style, kind of interesting style. It's really strange. And when I first got it, I did not like it at all. I couldn't get used to it. But the feel's okay now. I mean, it's something you really have to get used to, because I've always been used to, like, PlayStation, N64, and GameCube. This was totally new, and might have been kind of a reason why it failed, because the controller, it just isn't very comfortable. But I've gotten used to it now. But the one thing I can't get used to is the joystick. Now, the joystick, even though it has these little dots, grooves, to kind of keep your thumb on there, it does slip off, and it will slip off a lot of times, and it just doesn't feel exactly smooth. The D-pad I really like. It resembles the GameCube style. It's much bigger though, and it works very, very well. I love the D-pad. Games that use analog but have the D-pad option, I always end up just using. I don't mean to, but the D-pad just feels so nice on the Dreamcast. I love the D-pad. This is one of the nicest D-pads I've ever used. This is the start button. It's like a little triangle. And then you got your standard A, B, X, and Y buttons. On the back here, you got your little, not analog, but you just got your standard triggers. This is R and L. And this is the top where you put your memory card, and you could do Rumble Pack, or you could do the microphone for Seaman. Don't know why you'd ever play that game. A lot of people seem to like Seaman. I personally think it's creepy, but that's just my take on it. And as you notice, the cord is coming from the bottom, so they made this little groove up here where you could have it run from the top if you don't like it running from the bottom. I personally just like it on the bottom. I think it's a cool little feature, but you can do it if you like it coming out from the top. A lot of people don't like that either. I had some friends over to play this with me, and they were just tripping out about the controller, and I'm like, yeah, it was amazing how they were tripping over it, but you can do that. And what I wanted to show is the memory cards. Now, the memory cards are called VMU, Visual Memory Units. Now, this is a third-party one, so I don't have the one with the screen, but the first-party ones had little screens and had A, B, and a D-pad and start, because you could download certain games onto the VMU, and it was kind of like a little Tamagotchi thing, especially really popular with Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. You could put your child in there, raise him, so that was a Tamagotchi games kind of thing. And then you could do like racing games on here. It was very, very cool, and you would just pop it into the front, and then the VMU with the screen one, it would actually give you some really cool like game things on here, and then like in the 2K games, it would actually show you some really useful information. So like your friend wouldn't be able to see like what plays you're doing, and it was really, really nice invention. And I absolutely love the visual memory things, and I'm gonna get those screens very, very soon. But all in all, the controller I really like now. But at first I was just really, I don't know, but I haven't been able to put this thing down since. And this is just where you put it in. Now, it's labeled A, B, C, D instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really kind of weird, but here you can put it into A, B, C, and D. And then you could have some 4-player action if you have 4 controllers. Mine only came with 2, so I have to buy some controllers online. I went to my local bargain town, and they're like, yeah, we don't have any other controllers, which is probably a lie because I've seen them back there, but I'm not going to rant about that. I already ranted about that like yesterday because I went to go get some, and they're like, oh, well, there's none back there, and I'm like, I could go on for hours about that, but I wanted to show you the AV real quick because it's a special kind of AV like most things. So this is the connector. Now, if you have this laying around, that's great. If you don't, well, then you're going to have to buy one online. And it just comes with your standard yellow, red, and white. But the connector, I've never seen anything like it. I can't describe the connector exactly, but that's what it is. And the games on the Dreamcast were just amazing. I already mentioned Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. That blew everyone's mind. The Sonic Adventure game, going Sonic in 3D, that was an amazing thing for people. And rightly so, because it was an amazing jump into 3D. And no, the 3D games on Sega Saturn don't count. But all the other games, were just amazing. Like Marvel vs. Capcom, Virtua Fighter 3 TB. Man, there were so many other great games. Revolt and man, I'm thinking the other games. MDK2, Sega GT was really good. Tokyo Extreme Racer 2 was good. There's the list just could go on. They have a whole bunch of lists online that you can look at because mine's just going blank right now on the games, but there's so many good games. I'll link a whole bunch of other games in the description below if you want to check out some games to get for the Dreamcast. But if you're looking in the market for Dreamcast, I would highly recommend it. This is a great system. You know me, I'm a Nintendo kid. I've always been Nintendo, and I'm really skeptical when I'm not playing Nintendo games. But this is just something that blows me away. Like, it's not Nintendo, but yet I feel so at home with it. It's an amazing thing. Games that I've never played before are so just awesome on this thing, and I haven't been able to put it down. Like, every day I've been playing the Dreamcast because I've just felt at home with it. It's just an amazing console, and I don't know why it didn't succeed like it should have. It really should have gotten more credit than it really did. But guys, that was my review on the Sega Dreamcast. And my god, I've been ranting on for about 15 minutes. So guys, RetroGamer, if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys back here with another review. See you guys then.